There's so many things, and Your Honor, you still haven't stated for the record if you have full judicial power of the state or is this military power. That hasn't been proven.
I got to tell you, when Darrell Brooks Jr. talks about Admiralty Court and military power, I feel like I'm watching the A-Team. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Everything Else Channel on YouTube, everythingelsechannel.com. If at any point in time you like this video, smash that like button. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I cannot tell you how much that helps. Ring the bell for notifications. There's also a button that appears down below. If you click that button, it doesn't take you anywhere else. It may not even stop the video. It really helps if you subscribe. And then please leave a comment down below. This is yet one more out of so many. It's like a mountain or something, like a big mountain or like a big sea, like you're swimming, you know, like you're splashing around. It's a big sea of just these, just ridiculous things that he says. I mean, the idea that, you know, and I know what he was saying here. This is like that old sovereign citizen mumbo jumbo, you know, like, where's the state of Wisconsin? Is the state of Wisconsin here? Is it a real living, breathing person? You know what I mean? It kind of goes to that. It kind of goes to that, you know, she you know, like the same thing with the lawyers. Are you a member of the bar or do you have a license? And it's just a whole bunch of junk. And it goes to show you, you go to another topic with the whole testifying and him forfeiting that right and him saying, I never forfeit. I never said I didn't want to do it. Well, that's what forfeiting means. And so through his actions and using so much of his time to ask these ridiculous questions, you know, I feel like, you know, look, here's the thing. If he had any shot of winning, I would say, look, you really blew it. But did he? I mean, of course he did. But he never had a shot of walking away. You know what I mean? He was guilty as sin. But at the same time, you know, he could have, on some level, I'm not saying he would have been able to get out. I don't think he would have been able to get out. If you think so, definitely leave a comment down below. What would be the strategy? How? I mean, how would that be? I don't think that's possible, but hey, if, you know, but to me, if he had been, you know, if he had been really apologetic, if he had shown tremendous remorse, if he had been respectful of the court, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think it would have made a difference in terms of sentencing. It may have. I don't know. Maybe where he would do the time, or I don't know. I really don't know. But see, that is the flaw. Okay, that's thinking about doing the right thing to get something out of it. Whereas I think, you know, after the huge wrong that he did, doing the right thing wouldn't have had a redeeming value, but it would have had some level of decency. But like, for example, like little things, like, well, really, honestly, not little things, but little things in the grand scheme of things. Like when, you know, Sue Opper tried to protect the identity of some of the folks that were testifying. And he was like, well, you know, this is a public trial. Everything's on social media. So I object. And the judge says, you know, that's a very well articulated, which I don't know why the judge ever complimented anything that he did, but whatever. And she said, you know, and of course, look, what she was saying was, you know, you weren't yelling, you weren't taking your shirt off, you weren't like hurling threats. You presented, you know, your side well. Okay, you laid out your points well. Maybe she was trying to encourage him to do that in the future and maintain decorum of the court. Nobody here is trying to like throw shade at Judge Darrell. I give her a 97. People hate when I mention that, but I give her a 97. I think she did a fantastic job, an A quality job. But the thing is, I didn't really like when she complimented him. She didn't do it a lot, but she did it enough. One time is too much for me. But in any event, you know, something like that, something small like that, I think would have shown some sort of decency. You know what? You're right. You know what? Your Honor, the state is right. We don't need to, you know, put out the faces and the names of these people. They've been through enough. That would have been a very classy thing. And had he done 5 or 6 classy things throughout the period of the trial, I think that it would have, who knows? Who cares if it would have helped him? It would have been the right thing to do. But like, for example, during sentencing, when he wanted to turn to the victims, and the judge said they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that because you spent the entire trial re-traumatizing them. I mean, he had people up there that lost a loved one. He had people up there who saw him coming at them, and it's like he ripped open the wound and he poured salt in it. You know what I mean? Like, he re-traumatized them. You got to realize that this didn't happen right after, what he did. There was some time in between. Not a lot of time, but some time there where a lot of these folks were getting a lot of therapy, and he reopened that. And he made it as difficult as he could for them. Whether that was his intention or not, that's exactly what he did. So to me, these questions that he was asking were just, not only were they a complete waste of time, and maybe that was the whole point, but they just prolonged the agony. Everybody that was, called as a witness, every expert, every court worker, it was just like more time they had to be there, and it served no point. And so to me, asking if it was military power or admiralty court, if the lawyers that were all licensed to practice had bar licenses or state licenses, the subject matter jurisdiction, all of that stuff, to me was just an utter waste of time. Yeah, I mean, and I just don't understand what value it had to anything. Yeah, I mean, I just had a call come in. I apologize for that. But, the reality of the matter, guys, we can sit here forever talking about Darrell Brooks Jr., talking about that trial. And, some folks will say, well, why did the judge even honor the question? Why did she even answer? Well, again, not here to throw shade at the judge. These are questions that no matter how archaic, no matter how bunk, no matter how, stupid they may be. And I said stupid. I'm sorry. I that we're not supposed to say that, but there are things that are stupid. And some of these questions were basically very stupid, but I feel that the judge answered them because I don't know that it was because she didn't want to, go to appeal. Or I hear that so much. And again, look at Alex Murdoch. Now, Alex Murdoch, that's an interesting trial to look at. I mean, it's completely different than the Darrell Brooks trial, but there you had a court clerk that was basically saying she thought he was guilty, that was writing a book and a whole bunch of stuff, and that didn't even win an appeal. That didn't even get a new trial. Okay, that didn't even get a new trial. So I mean, it's interesting because it's so hard. Now that's not an appeal necessarily. That was a motion for a new trial. But what I'm saying is, even something as egregious as that, and that it was egregious. That was egregious. Didn't get a new trial, and they may try other things. But if that didn't get a new trial, could you imagine him winning an appeal? Could you imagine Darrell Brooks Jr. winning an appeal? It's so difficult. And I understand the judge wanted to make sure that everything was done correctly, but I think that answering whether it was military or tribunal or admiralty or if they were on the moon that day was pointless. And so to the folks that say, well, she only was doing that to make sure that he couldn't win on appeal, I say, yeah, maybe. But honestly, I think that's a really, really big stretch. That's like a bubblegum stretch. That's like a mozzarella cheese stretch. That's a stretch. You know what I mean? That's a pretty good stretch. So I don't necessarily think it was so much that as maybe it was, I don't know what it was. But to me, the idea that he would ask a judge in a state of Wisconsin court if he was under military power, or like if he was in a trial by sea or in a trial like by the Navy or something, or a trial by the military, makes me think of the A-Team and makes me think that he just totally wasted everybody's time and just prolonged the agony of all the people that had suffered that were there and had to be there. But that's just me. As always, guys, I hope that you subscribe to the channel. I hope that you smash that like button if you liked it, and please leave a comment down below. Thanks.